you are.
I know you too, Teddy.
In a world where every conspiracy theory has its own podcast, one filmmaker asked, what if the paranoid guy in the basement was actually onto something? And what if the billionaire he kidnapped deserved it? And what if they were both right and both completely, tragically wrong? Welcome to Frameshift, Deep Cut, where we dissect films until the subtext starts sweating under interrogation. Today we're talking about Bugonia, Yorgos Lanthimos' latest exercise in making you feel complicit just for watching. If you're already questioning your life choices, good. That means you're paying attention, and if you stick around for the whole thing, you'll understand why this movie feels less like entertainment and more like being cornered at a party by someone who's either a genius or needs a welfare check. Maybe hit that subscribe button now, because in about 50 minutes you're going to need someone to process this with. So, Bugonia. The setup is deceptively simple. Jesse Plemons plays Teddy, a beekeeper who believes Emma Stone's pharmaceutical CEO, Michelle, is an alien from the Andromeda species sent to destroy humanity. His evidence, conspiracy podcast, vibes, and the fact that his mom died after a bad drug trial Michelle's company ran. So naturally, Teddy and his cousin Donnie kidnap her, shave her head because that's apparently how she phones home, chain her in a basement, and spend 3 days trying to break her before the lunar eclipse when our mothership arrives. It's misery meets They Live with a dash of Eat the Rich, and Lanthimos shoots it like a horror film, starring corporate jargon. The performances here are unhinged in the best way. Jesse Plemons, already Hollywood's go-to guy for sweaty intensity, leans fully into the feral energy of a man who's done his own research. He's covered in grime, chemically castrated himself for mental clarity, and delivers monologues about techno-enslavement with the conviction of someone who's been awake for 72 hours. Emma Stone, bald and bound, counters with the passive, aggressive serenity of every CEO who's ever said the words operational efficiency while denying your insurance claim. She speaks in corporate platitudes that sound alien, even when they're technically English. And Aidan Delbis as Donnie brings this protective, earnest energy that makes you forget you're watching a kidnapping and start wondering if maybe these guys have a point. Here's where it gets interesting. Lanthimos shoots Plemons from below, all menacing angles and claustrophobic framing, the kind of visual language you'd use for a villain, but he shoots Stone from above, head shaved, eyes wide, looking like she wandered out of the Passion of Joan of Arc. Why are we using martyr imagery on a pharma executive? Because Lanthimos wants you confused about who the monster is. Is it the guy torturing a woman in his basement, or the woman whose company poisoned his mother for profit? The film holds both truths in its grimy, sweaty hands and refuses to let go of either. And that refusal, that moral ambiguity, is where Bugonia lives. This isn't a film that picks a side. It's a film that watches both sides destroy each other and asks if maybe we all deserve what's coming. The structure is methodical, almost ritualistic. 3 days until the eclipse, 3 acts, black and white flashbacks revealing how Michelle's company ruined Teddy's life. Each day, the Earth flattens a little more on the countdown cards, a visual joke about conspiracy theories that also isn't a joke at all because, yeah, the world is getting flatter in every sense that matters. Lanthimos has always been great at making you laugh and then immediately punishing you for it. Remember The Lobster? Remember feeling clever for getting the satire and then realising the satire was also about you? Bugonia does that, but meaner. There's a scene where Teddy rants about bees, about colony collapse disorder, about how we've poisoned the pollinators and doomed ourselves, and he's right, objectively, scientifically right, but he's also holding a shotgun and covered in his own paranoia. So the rightness of his argument gets tangled up in the wrongness of his methods. It's like if your uncle's Facebook rants were actually correct, but also he still shouldn't have access to firearms. The film keeps you guessing whether Michelle is actually an alien, not in a fun mystery box way, but in a way that makes you realise the question doesn't matter. Whether she's literally extraterrestrial or just emotionally alien in the way all billionaires are, the effect is the same. She's untouchable, unaccountable, speaking a language that sounds like English but means nothing. Teddy's trying to get a confession, but you can't confess to something when you genuinely don't believe you did anything wrong. That's not alien biology. That's just capitalism. Robbie Ryan's cinematography is doing a lot of heavy lifting here. The basement is lit like a circle of hell, all harsh shadows and fluorescent despair. Michelle's modernist house looks like an Apple commercial directed by Stanley Kubrick. The visual contrast is so stark, it's basically a thesis statement. And the score, the score, booms and crashes like the world ending in real time, which thematically it is. But here's where I get stuck. Here's where Lanthimos either reveals himself as a coward or a genius, and I genuinely can't tell which. The ending is so aggressively ambiguous that it borders on irresponsible. Are we supposed to sympathise with Teddy's class rage, with Michelle's survival instinct, with Donnie's collateral damage? Lanthimos keeps all options open, which means he's either critiquing everyone or no one, and the difference matters. There's a reading where this is a savage takedown of anti-science conspiracy culture. There's another reading where it's a rallying cry for the people Big Pharma left behind. There's a third reading where it's just Lanthimos laughing at all of us for thinking movies should have answers. Compare this to Ari Aster's Eddington, which at least committed to its provocations. That film took a stance, even if the stance was uncomfortable. Bugonia feels safer, more controlled, like Lanthimos is playing both sides so he never has to be wrong. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the film's refusal to choose is itself a choice, a way of saying we're all complicit, we're all victims, we're all the problem. But it also lets Lanthimos off the hook for actually saying something. Because here's the thing. This is a movie about a Greek filmmaker using America as a setting to explore humanity's self-destruction, and that outsider perspective could be clarifying. But instead of clarity, we get a funhouse mirror that reflects everything and reveals nothing. Every conspiracy theory is a little bit true. Every corporation is a little bit evil. Every victim is a little bit culpable. And if everyone's guilty, then no one is, which is either profound nihilism or just exhausting both sides-ism. The phrase that haunts the film is psychic compulsions. Teddy believes he and Donnie need to cleanse themselves of these compulsions to see the truth. They chemically castrate themselves, they train, they purify, but the compulsion they can't shake is the need for someone to blame. And Michelle's compulsion is the need to justify her own existence through the language of optimization and progress. And our compulsion as an audience is the need for a movie to tell us who's right. Lanthimos denies us that satisfaction, which is either brave or lazy, depending on whether you think ambiguity is the same thing as depth. Maybe that's why this story works. Not because it's perfect, but because it admits that making sense of anything right now is impossible. The conspiracy theorists have legitimate grievances wrapped in lunacy. The billionaires have blood on their hands and spreadsheets that say otherwise. The world is ending and we're all just arguing about who gets to decide how. Bugonia doesn't offer solutions because there aren't any. It just offers rage. And sometimes rage is the most honest thing a movie can give you. So here we are. Bugonia, a film that hates you, hates itself, hates the world, and might be correct about all of it. Jesse Plemons is incredible. Emma Stone is incredible. The craft is impeccable. And the whole thing feels like watching someone have a very expensive, nervous breakdown about late capitalism while you sit there wondering if you should call someone or just let it happen. In the end, Teddy wanted to save the world by destroying the people destroying it. Michelle wanted to save the world by optimizing it into oblivion. And Lanthimos made a movie about both of them and refused to tell us which one was worse. Maybe they are the same. Maybe we're all aliens now, speaking languages we don't understand, poisoning things we can't see, waiting for an eclipse that will never come. Anyway, that's our deep cut, where even nihilistic art house thrillers deserve someone to yell about them on the internet. If you made it this far, drop a comment about whether you think Michelle was actually an alien or if that's just what she wants you to think. Subscribe if you enjoy watching me have small crises about movies. And remember, the bees are dying, the billionaires are thriving, and Yorgos Lanthimos thinks we all deserve what's coming. See you in the basement.